Hey guys, this is Leutrim, and today I'm going to be talking about New Age bullshit. Now, first and foremost, a rant about all this New Age bombardment we've been hit with over the past few years. By New Age bullshit, I do of course mean these wannabe rebels who think they figured out something illuminating and wondrous. And of course, by something, I do mean anything from the scaremongrels who come up with the 2012 end of the world theory, Mayan calendar, world catastrophe, we're all gonna die, so buy my new book while stocks last crap, to the hippies who protest outside Downing Street. Of course, you also have those who believe that a reptilian species governs the world through a network of power lines and ancestral hairs going back to the beginning of time itself. We then go into those who are less loony but still pretty silly in my book, the people who think the world is being overtaken by a group of power-hungry big cats, New World Order, Illuminati being the few loose terms to describe them. Let me start with the 2012 end of the world theories. For a start, there is no actual single theory. They are in actual fact a bunch of loosely fitted, pseudo-scientific miscalculations. For example, certain idiots seem to think that the end of a calendar means the end of the world. Well, we know this is complete bullshit. I won't even bother writing or talking about this anymore because that's just the extent of the ridiculousness of it all. Some seem to think that a planet dwarf red star called Planet X or Nibiru will crash or bypass Earth, and this will, cause havoc on the planet. However, there is no evidence from the big guns like NASA about such an entity in our solar system. Plus, the millions and millions of independent skywatchers haven't mentioned anything about this. And so yeah, there you go, you bunch of idiots. The people who believe this are basically that, a bunch of freaking idiots. The only thing that might, yes, people might, that's the word I'm trying to emphasize, might happen in 2012, is a solar flare that could temporarily lose, it could cause like it could cause an event where we could lose our mobile phone signals. Whoop-de-fucking-do, that's all that could possibly happen. But it's just a theory by NASA, but that's the thing that could happen. We're not looking at something that could possibly destroy the whole world. It could just be a loss of communication, and probably the worst thing that could happen is we could lose our mobile phone signals. So we shouldn't really get too hyped up about it. Now, swiftly moving on to the reptilian theory, which seems to be pushed most vigorously by David Icke, who in my opinion is nothing short of a deluded psychopath. The theory again loosely states that all leaders and people who hold power on this planet are not in fact people at all. Instead, they're reptile humanoids or something, and the point being, it is completely ridiculous. If it were true, then I'm sure we'd all know about it. Medical science would be very, very different. But you know what? It isn't, and there is literally no evidence for this theory. So cut the bullshit, people. Seriously, anyone who believes this, again, is a freaking idiot. Finally, the most popular New Age conspiracy of them all. It seems like everyone is hooked on this. Everyone believes it. Everyone seems to think it's true to some extent. Some people believe it's more true than others. Some, believe it less. I used to believe in it. This is, of course, I'm talking about the Illuminati and the horrific New World Order that they're planning. This conspiracy, it has a little bit of juice and kick in it. Reason being, although most of it is comprised of a bunch of lies, a little bit isn't. And, this stuff is semi-believable, but it's down to opinion at the end of the day. The stuff that is actually a little bit, a little bit true. If you're a little confused, let me just try to explain to you. The Iraq War. It's a bit of a hot issue, so forgive my active attempt to tiptoe around it, because I don't really want to cause too much anger among you guys. Now, most people who want to believe the world is run by a secret demonic club of middle-aged men who think the reason the West went into the Iraq War was for the oil and world domination. However, my interpretation is this: the West is a democratic part of the world where people are not prosecuted for being of a certain religious sect, sexuality, or gender. Would you rather a psychotic psychomaniac like Saddam Hussein, who practiced ethnic cleansing and supported a non-secular state of Islam, or a coalition of Western democratic states that are in theory ruled by the people, have control of the oil? I mean, oil would have brought a lot of wealth, power to Saddam Hussein, and it would have just inevitably used to further his destructive ways. Well, in the last 10 years, a lot of people have been coming up with ideas that basically have no evidential backing, and it's mainly used to scare and panic people. And it sort of reminds me of religion. If you don't believe, and if you don't let so and so into your heart, God will burn you for eternity. Right? Okay. Now, can you please prove that with any sort of empirical or satisfactory evidence? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, science has done much more for us than any bullshit with no evidence will ever do. So in short, what I'm trying to say and convey here is that people shouldn't go around spreading weightless rumours, because it just gets messy. All these rumours about 2012, the Illuminati, the reptilian theory. There's no evidence for it. There is absolutely no evidence for none of it. So you shouldn't really buy into it, because you're just gonna give yourself a headache. I would advise you to be, of course, a free thinker, to look at lots of sources for, sources of information, and don't jump to conclusions. If you just see one video on YouTube and it says, Nibiru is gonna come and crash into Earth, and the Anunnaki or whatever live on this planet, all this bullshit. Just because you see one video that says that does not mean it's true. And the same goes, of course, for the big news. If you see something on the news, on a big channel like the BBC, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. You'd be surprised how biased any form of journalism can be. So just look at lots of different sources and make your opinion. Don't make any harsh judgments straight away. So anyway, guys, this has been Leutrim. Hope you've enjoyed this mini podcast. There will be a lot more podcasts. Until next time, bye bye.